For the landlord, you don't use verbal communication to ask for your rent. Please, as a tenant, it's not a prayer for you that you remain a tenant all your life. Because when I hear some issues in tenancy, what tenants do, I'm like, do these people even think that they will remain tenants forever?
So today we're going to be handling a very important discussion area, and you're going to get a lot from it. Yes, my name is Pearl, and
I'm Oghosa.
So the question now is, can a landlord evict a tenant without a court order?
The answer is no. Under the tenancy law in Nigeria, there are legal procedures before you evict a tenant. So you don't just come up and you say your tenancy has expired and you have to go. Let's say the tenant refuses and you start using self-help. Self-help is not recognized under Nigeria tenancy law. You have to go through the usual procedure, and usually part of the procedure is that you give a notice to quit to the tenants. For a yearly tenant, you have to give a 6 months notice to quit before proceeding to court and instituting an action against such a tenant. And people will always say that, oh, it's stressful, it's a long procedure. But when you consult an expert, this thing can actually be done within a short while.
It was a case of a tenant that was owing rent, but there had been no tenancy agreement in the beginning. So when she started verbally asking this tenant to pay up
the rent,
house rent that was due,
this
tenant resorted to violence, so verbally abused the landlady. He went to the police and wrote a petition against the landlady. And then when the landlady was called, did you issue him a notice of quit? She said no. Where the tenancy agreement, she was speechless. And then it took some time before the matter was quickly resolved. So where will your legal advice come in?
Tenancy agreement is very important. Everything should be properly spelled out in the tenancy agreement. But in events where there's no tenancy agreement, what the tenant did is against the law. You have to consult a lawyer when it comes to the issue of tenancy, especially as a landlord, because tenants can be funny. And I know too that some landlords can be funny. And that's why when a lawyer is involved, these things are spelled out in the tenancy agreement. I'm not talking about a copy and paste document like we see flying everywhere. No, it's a tailored agreement. For the landlord, she didn't do well. Honestly, you don't use verbal communication to ask for your rent. Please get a lawyer who will just draft the notice, because when a lawyer is involved, I tell you, the game changes, right? Just consult the lawyer and say, this tenant is giving me issue. What do I do? So that's where the lawyer comes in and gives the necessary notices and even follow-up conversations.
So there is something that a lot of landlords are scared of. Once they hear that the law seems more in favor of the tenants than the landlord, they get scared and try to do things their own way. Sometimes they even resort to self-help. So in terms of how the law helps a landlord or favors a landlord, what can you speak to that?
Okay, first of all, yes, the law favors the tenants when we look at the tenancy law, but then it also protects the landlord when things are done legally. Some landlord just wants to do it their own way. They want to resort to self-help. When you resort to self-help, that's when the law sits against you in a larger scale. Now to the tenants, I know sometimes in a bid of trying to get an apartment, everybody wants to bring in emotions and sentiments and act like everything is fine when you are just beginning this. Please, as a tenant, also understand, it's not a prayer for you that you remain a tenant all your life. Sometimes we should put ourselves in the shoes of this landlord, because when I hear some issues in tenancy, what tenants do, I'm like, do these people even think that they will remain tenants forever? Except you just want to be proactive as well. When a tenancy agreement is given to you, do where to read through. Don't just say, take it and flip it into your drawer. Read through your tenancy agreement and have a lawyer to read through the tenancy agreement, because sometimes there are some clauses that will not be in your favor and it will not be drafted in a layman's tone. You may not even understand it and you just like, is there a regular legal term? No, inside that legal terms are hidden clauses that are not in your favor. So do well to read through or give a legal expert to read through your tenancy agreement just to be on the safe side.
Thank you so much. And I'm sure that your questions are being answered. And if you have more questions, please drop them in the comment section. We'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Until then, it's bye.
Bye.
And make sure you stay safe.
Okay? Legally.